Hello, Vol Nation. Welcome to another episode of Believe in Tennessee Football. I'm your host, as always, Kyler Kerberson, joined with Reed Bacon this week after a solo pod last week. We talked about some of the stuff I touched on last week, Kaidon Salter, what that means for him, and some of the other guys going into the transfer portal, some other guys on Tennessee getting in trouble, and the N.I.L. and what that means for the future of college football and what that means for Tennessee. So let's jump into it.
By the game. Snap. The kick is in the air, and the kick this time is no, sir, Reed. No, sir, Reed. Final score. Tennessee 20, Florida 17. Pandemonium reigns.
Loads up, fires long for the end zone. The pass is going to be caught by Tennessee. Tennessee wins! Caught by Tennessee, Jawan Jennings. Jennings makes the catch in the end zone on the Hail Mary.
Down at the 35, to the 40, to the 45, to the 50, to the 45, to the 40, to the 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. What did he do? All he did was score. Joey Pence, touchdown on play number 1.
So before we get into the show, gotta shout out our number one sponsor at Bet Online. Baseball is coming up. You also have the NHL playoffs, NBA playoffs, and there's just a ton of stuff to bet on. So for all of your news, your stats, all the odds that you would want, Bet Online has that. So go on, head over there, and get in on that action. It's fun to bet on these games. It gets a little more interesting that way. So visit the website or use your mobile device to sign up and receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. So before the next tip-off, face-off, or pitch, head on over to BetOnline and start playing today. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts. Okay, welcome in, everybody. So glad to have my co-host back, Reed Bacon. How we doing there, Reed?
I'm good, brother. I missed you last week. I was on vacation, and it was an incredible vacation. Ariel, my girlfriend, and I went and had a nice week, and it was great. But I missed you, and I enjoyed listening to you again. So
I appreciate that. Thank you. I thought it was a pretty good one for being by myself. I think I got a little intense. Like, Father Kyler came out a little bit. Like, why are you making these dumb decisions?
Well, I also thought it sounded good. Like, not good, but like it just kind of sounded different because you had lost your voice from Justin Worley's wedding.
Yeah.
So you just sounded like serious, matter of fact. Yeah, that kind of dad type. So it was kind of fun.
Yeah. I was actually like a nickname I had like my last couple of years at Tennessee, because in the O-line room, we didn't bring in an offensive line in the class after me, not one single guy. So
that's good recruiting.
Yeah, that's great recruiting. Way to go, Dooley.
Idiot.
So the closest in age was 2 years younger than me. So they called me Grandpa Curb.
Yeah.
Like towards the end of my time there, because I was so much like older than them.
Yeah.
And like more mature. Like I had
basically a wife.
Oh, now wife. I was engaged my last year there, so it was like, different animal than what they were up to.
Matter of fact, it's funny. I still remember reading in the Knoxville News Sentinel that recruiting class, and Dooley signed 9 defensive backs. This was like 9 defensive backs and no offensive linemen. Like, what are you doing, Dooley? Like, go comb your hair. Even though I got better hair than Dooley. But anyways, let's just jump into it tonight. We're going to be hopefully short, sweet. We just actually have kind of a decent amount of news to talk with after some of the stuff that's happened today and this week. But first thing is I want to hit on the Salter stuff real quick. I've seen some stuff where people are like, well, it's legal in other states. It's going to be legal here. It's not legal yet. Follow the rules, bro. And you know what? If you're not going to follow the rules, don't be an idiot about it. You know what I mean?
Like, Hey, guess what? Everybody in college drinks, even though they're not 21. So somehow they get away with that
Right.
because they're smart about it, because they stay at a house, because they, aren't out and about in the street or driving around. That's, I mean,
Go to a dorm room, pregame, go out. After you go out, go get you a McDouble, a McGangbang, or whatever that sandwich was from McDonald's.
That's exactly what it was.
And
For the people that don't know, it is putting a whole McChicken inside or in between the patties of a McDouble.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. That was my go-to.
You actually introduced me to that. So, but anyways, yeah, go get your stuff, get back, and play some Xbox and go to sleep. Like, don't be an idiot. If you're gonna smoke marijuana, go to someone's off-campus apartment or go somewhere that you can sit on a back porch, smoke, sleep there. Don't be driving around with it. Like I promise people on here that like read at 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, the people that know me, I was a clown. Like I still like to have fun. I still like to do stupid stuff. Like, but I'm just, I'm older now, so I'm more mature, but like, you gotta be smart about stuff. Like, and honestly, what really pissed me off about this, where obviously he just had learned his lesson, or he had just gotten in trouble. He should have learned his lesson.
Yeah,
bro, I don't need you being the quarterback of a university of my team. I don't care how good you're gonna be. Like, and the other thing is too, I don't think he's gonna be that good. He's gonna go somewhere, and if he goes to a smaller school, he'll probably put up some really good numbers. But the only way that I'll ever sit here and look back and be like, dang, like, I wish we had him. I wish he wasn't an idiot and didn't screw up, is if he was like a Heisman Trophy candidate. And you know what? I would bet a lot of money that's not going to happen, because you have to be a very, very special person to do that. Now, he acts like he thinks he's going to be, and that's fine. Go, more power to you. You got to have confidence in yourself. But it really pissed me off because you got in trouble once and you're still here at the University of Tennessee. Like, you should appreciate it. And the other thing is too, like, after he gets dismissed, like, he didn't even really apologize. He just kind of said, I made a mistake, like you said. And then on Twitter, like a day later, he posted a highlight video of like, I got my swagger back. Like, that's why I don't get on social media. That's why literally the only reason I'm on Twitter is because of this podcast. But like, I don't get on that garbage because like, I should remind myself, these are kids are 18, 19 years old. They don't know any difference. We were like that in some way, but like, these kids, their egos are so stroked and they're young and immature. They're kids. Like, they don't know life. Like, I'm not saying I know life like a 40, 50 or 60-year-old, but I'm 30. Like, I feel like I have a pretty good head on my shoulder. It's just like, get your swagger battle about what, bro? Like, you just got kicked off of campus. Like, get off social media and go work hard. Like, you're lucky, he'll get another opportunity. But after that, listen, I'm not going to be surprised is if in 3 or 4 or 5, 6 years, the guy's like, you're not playing ball. Like, he's just not, and I'm not saying I hope that I'm not saying that at all. I don't wish that on anybody. Like, go enjoy your time. It goes quick, but like, it's just, I don't know. It just rubbed me the wrong way. So anyways, you had your chance. You're gone. We got a great QB room.
Yeah.
And you know what? We're hopefully going to be able to recruit more. So I'm not worried about him. He wasn't going to be the savior anyways.
Yeah. I mean, that's the same thing I was saying last week. It's like, bro, if you're making these kind of decisions, like, what kind of decisions are you going to make as a number one quarterback? Like, what? Like, it seems like you're dumb. I have no idea anything about you. I don't know you personally. I don't, completely up to whatever you're doing. But when you make decisions like this, you look like an idiot.
Yeah, 100%. No other way to cut it. You're just being an idiot. Not saying you are one. You're acting like one.
Yeah.
And the other thing about him too is like, he's not even that big. Like, it's always bothered me how small of a kid he was. Like, I was just nervous about him even playing in the SEC. Like, that stuff doesn't ultimately matter. But like, that was another thing. Like, who knows? If he's a good quarterback, we'll see. Whatever. But Tennessee fans shouldn't worry that he's gone. Like, whatever. See ya. All right. Next thing I want to talk about is Jordan Phillips. That just committed literally today, because we're recording this on Thursday night. I'm pretty, like, at first I was like, hey, you know what? D lineman, Reed loves linemen. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, all right, 6'2", 300, good size. he's from Florida. They play a good brand of ball down there. I'm like, okay, what am I going to next? Haven't seen a lick of film. Don't need to right now. But what did I check? His offers. Boy's got 27 offers. He's got Auburn, Georgia, Florida, Michigan, Miami, Ole Miss, Missouri. I'm good. You know what I mean? And he picked us. Okay, I like it. We'll see. I read a real quick article that said people are really high on him and think that he could be, he could be the next one of ours that jumps from a 3 to a 4-star. Hey, that'd be great.
Yeah.
But I'll take that with what we got hanging potentially over our heads with winning 3 football games last year. I'm happy with that. So I don't know if you've gotten a chance to look at him yet, but I was good with it.
I haven't gotten a chance. I saw the news that he did commit. I haven't gotten a chance to watch film or anything like that. But, like you said, being from Florida and the high school ball that is played down there, like you expect something more out of him. And also like an offer from Florida in his home state and he chooses to come to Tennessee. I always love that. Like,
Love it.
I don't know exactly where is he from in Florida.
I swear I thought it said Ocala, Florida. So I think that's kind of close to Tampa. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's close to Tampa. Okay. Well, yes. I mean, that's 2 hours from Gainesville. Like it's pretty close, maybe hour 45. So the fact that
that's why I put Miami on here too. Because I don't necessarily say Miami's a powerhouse, but that's an in-state school.
Yeah, exactly. So. I love it. Hey, when Butch said 5-star hearts way back when, it was the corniest thing he ever heard. And obviously it didn't make sense, but I understood what he was trying to say. Like, I would rather have a 3-star that works his butt off and like really cares about playing than a 5-star who's just like, well, I rolled my ankle, I'm not going to practice kind of thing. Like, get out of here. So he's a 3-star and he's got all these offers. It just means like, I have a mic troubles here, people. It just means he's a baller.
Yeah.
That's how I was. I was a 3-star on Rivals, and they never 4-star in Scout, 3-star on Rivals. They never bumped me up to a 4-star because I stopped giving media interviews. I know that's why, because I literally stopped answering people's calls. I didn't do like one interview for like a 5-month period.
Everything that was about you, like newspapers, articles, all that stuff, they listed you as a 4-star because you had 30 something offers.
Yeah.
So, all right, next thing quick on the list, big Brandon Terang, I guess is how you say his last name. Dude, you know what? This is one that I'm just kind of like, whatever, we'll see, because he's a 4-star. That sounds good. 6'1", 186, good size for a corner. We love the fact that he went to Bama out of high school, but that's also what scares me. Why did he leave Bama? Like, what happened there? Sometimes that spooks me and scares me. But sounds like the talent's there. It sounds a lot like a Joe Milton type, where it's like he could have the tools, but I don't know what's going on up in between his ears.
Yeah.
But it was kind of weird to me that, he was at Bama, then he was supposed to go to Georgia. Now he's with us. It was also a little weird that he's from Oxford, Mississippi, and I don't know if they even went after him. So I don't know if that's something that people in that town are talking to Lane and just like, hey, this guy's like, he's got some drama going on, but hey, you know what? Who cares? It's a transfer.
Yeah.
Let's take a shot on him. He's got 4 years of eligibility. We'll see if he does anything. So
I mean, sometimes people don't want to be at home. So could have been a reason why he didn't.
I was just saying I'm just kind of throwing it out there.
I mean, it's probably, it feels more like a I'm not going to play kind of thing. In my eyes, just because he's coming from Bama and they have so much talent there, like I don't think I'm going to play. I might play my last year or last couple years. Like I can see the writing on the wall. Because I don't know if, there's not like reports of him, getting pulled over with weed or something like that.
Well, I don't know about. Yeah, I haven't. I honestly, I don't. I heard about it today as I was walking into the Y. I've looked up some stuff on him, and the quick stuff is I want to see is what was he coming out of high school, and I'll look into some of the other stuff of why. But it's a 4-star transfer. He has 4 years. We'll see what happens. And I do like the size. 6'1", 186. That's pretty good size.
Heck yeah, it is.
And he did actually get some PT at Bama, so like it wasn't like he didn't play. So that's another good thing. All right, so I would say by next time we do one, I'll probably have watched some film on Jordan Phillips and Brandon, see what's up. I'm going to talk about Darrell Middleton and Greg Emerson, the transfers. And what I called and told you about on the phone is I used to live in Nashville. So when I graduated UT, I lived in Nashville for 4.5 years. I like living in Nashville because, well, for multiple reasons, but one of the things that annoys me about being back in Knoxville is the sports talk here. And it's all Tennessee all the time. And I get it. That's what everyone wants to hear. That's why we're doing a podcast. There's not a bigger UT fan than me or you. So it's like, that's why I listen. I want to hear stuff. But I just feel like, and I don't think they're doing it on purpose, but just some of the negativity is so annoying. Like they are, and I was talking to Jack, one of my good buddies, huge diehard Tennessee fan. We were talking last night on the drive when I was driving home. It's like, what do you people care about some of these transfers? We were 3-8 last year, and I know you can. I know you can say like Pruitt wasn't a good coach, and these guys were talented players, and all this, that, and the other. It's like we're like you and I've talked about it. We're not going to be very good next year. So like all these kids that transferred, like besides like a D. Lawrence. And maybe one other ones, they would have had a couple multiple years, but like a lot, like Henry T's going to probably play 1 year, maybe 2. Like these guys aren't necessarily that we're going to, Eric Gray wasn't going to be here much longer. Ty Chandler, we've gotten some good run out of them. So it's like I was listening to the radio and they were talking about the top 100 transfers in the nation. Eric Gray was number 1. Henry To'oTo'o was number 2. Like Jameer Johnson was on there. Wanye Morris was on there. Cortavius Crouch was in the 60s. And they're like, oh, my gosh, Tennessee's lost all this talent. We've had all these decommits. We've had all these transfers. Like, yeah, we get it. We still went 3-8 last year. Like, who cares? Like, we obviously weren't that good anyway. So, like, let them go on. Let them move on. Quit acting like it's so negative. Like, we got the guys that are here. We know the NCAA stuff. People got to get it out of their head that we're playing for next year anyways. We're not playing for next year or not planning for next year. We shouldn't really care about next year. Let's just hopefully the guys play hard. Hopefully we see some sparks on offense, some of that stuff. Year 2, it'll be a little bit more serious. And year 3 is going to be the first year we can really say, all right, let's see what we got. Yeah. So these guys are going to be long gone by then. So it does, like, I'm so sick of hearing like, what's going on the Hill? Geez, something's going on over there. Like 25 kids transferred. Like, half these guys weren't going to play. Half these guys have 1 year of eligibility left, and a bunch of these dudes were walk-ons. Like, see ya. Like, it's not a big deal. So Darrell Middleton. Let me tell you, folks, about Darrell Middleton. Everyone knows he's bounced around high schools. He went to JUCO. He came here. Last year, he gave a 6-start, 15 tackles, 1.5 tackles for a loss, and 1 sack. Sweet. What do I care about that? Like, we can get a middle-of-the-road guy to come in and do that. On a 3-8 team, bro. On a 3-8 team that got kind of lucky to beat South Carolina, so you could have been, 2-9, whatever.
I love your honesty right now. It's cracking me up.
Greg Emerson. I like Greg Emerson. I was a big Greg Emerson fan. Matter of fact, I'm going to tell you right now, I got a call when he was back in high school, and Cade Mays was still back in high school, and Cade Mays went to the opening. And Greg Emerson whipped him. And I got some calls that like, bro, this guy is a dog. Now we got both those guys on the team. So it was a win-win because they were both, pretty good players. Greg Emerson, like, I guess it was 2 years ago. Like, I thought he was really good. Like, I thought he was a good player. Like, I enjoyed watching him. Guess what, people? He didn't play hardly at all last year. He didn't make any starts until he was playing in the Auburn game, and he had an ankle injury. Like, Kyler and I looked up his stats. He literally gave us nothing last year. I hate the fact that he got injured. And maybe he was going to come on a little bit later at the end of the season. He didn't give us anything last year. He's gone. Who cares? I hope the best for all these guys. I'm never trying to talk negative about them. We went 3-8. Who cares if they're leaving? It doesn't matter. Like, it legitimately does not matter. Like, I don't want to take it negatively towards the Hill, aka the University of Tennessee, in our football program. Like,
Yeah.
their coach left. We're going to have NCAA sanctions. Those guys know we're not going to be good next year. Good for Eric Gray. Like, let him go play at Oklahoma. Like, he wasn't going to make a big difference here anyway. So, like, anyways, I'm tired of the semi-negativity because I don't think the radio tries to be negative. They're just kind of reading reports and reading these things that come out. But it's just like, I can sit there and I can just imagine all these UT fans like, we lost all these players. What's going on? We're not going to be any good. Like, guys, last time I'm going to say it. We were 3-8. Who cares? Half these guys, like, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I think, like, you know, whoever created that list and, like, put Henry and Gray up at the top, like, it's just a, well, crap kind of thing. As a Tennessee fan, like, you know, we're getting over it. We're moving on. We're looking at new guys, new transfers coming in that are really talented players and, you know, fitting, you know, needs that we have. And then, you know, someone creates a list and it's like, so the best transfers were from us to somewhere else. So I think that's the sad part of it. I do agree that sometimes it can be very negative because I've said before on here, like, I'm very much an optimist about stuff. And, you know, when I look at the schedule and even though we went 3-8, like, I look at the schedule, I'm like, let's get 6 wins. Like, we can do that. Like, it's possible. And it might not even be in the realm of possibility, but the optimistic side of me is like, yeah, we can do it. We can do it. Even if all these guys transfer, even if they all left, like, we can still do it. I mean, that's what I believed when I was there and I was playing, is like, we can still do this. Like, we can win any game that we go into. It's just, you know, are you executing? Are you doing the right stuff? Are you believing in yourself? Because, like you said, a 3-8 team, yeah, there was coaching issues, but someone's got to play. Someone's got to take the snap. Someone's got to, you know, make the tackle. Yeah, make the play, make the tackle. Like, coaches can't do that. So, I mean, there were reasons teams just did whatever they wanted versus us.
So that's why I brought this up, because I was sitting in my car, beautiful morning, driving to work. And then I'm like, I literally say, like, oh, dang, like, that blows. Like, man, that really sucks. And I start getting this game like, well, I kind of wish Henry T and Eric Gray didn't leave. Like, maybe if we just kept those two. Or maybe if we kept just Henry T and D. Lawrence. And I'm like, wait, Reed, we sucked last year. And guess what? We're not going to be very good next year. And those guys wouldn't have changed it. I promise you, in my heart, I do not think if you brought 4 or 5 of those best ones that left, I don't think it's going to change our win percentage next year. I really don't. Maybe one game, but that's it. We're not competing for anything next year. Like, so, like, what do I care if they're gone? Like, so that's what was bothering me, is like, I'm a big out of sight, out of mind person. And so I just wish I didn't have to hear that crap and, like, always talk about it, because then I get in my own head and I'm like, you know, it doesn't matter that they're gone because we're not going to be competing for, you know, an SEC East title next year anyway. So I just don't want the fans to, like, and I think it's also like with this whole transfer thing, it's been like, it's meant like recruiting's gone. Like, we usually, you and I, not recruiting guys, but these people that do like recruiting, even though they live it year round, they're only like super excited for like early signing period and regular signing period. Well, now with transfers, this is like every day. Yeah. It's every day.
365.
So it's kind of exhausting now. You know, it's like, it's just kind of a lot. So anyways, UT fans, who cares if they're gone? They probably weren't going to play much. Their names. And I see on Twitter, like, oh, like, we hate to lose you. Like, go be great. Like, what do you mean hate to lose you? Like, yeah, go be great. Like, go do awesome. I hope it works out for you. But like, what do we care? Guy didn't start for us last year. Guys will walk on. Guys, 2 of them were running backs that were good players. Guess what? We're going to be fine at running back this year. I really believe that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, all right. Last, real quick, and then we'll get into some of the name, image, and likeness stuff. So Dominic Bailey got pulled over for weed. Back to the Salter thing. It's like, you know, or just anybody get caught with weed. It's like, hey, like, if you want to do it, just be smart about it. Don't be speeding and having it in the car with you. or have a better hiding spot. You brought up a good point. It sounds like he was very respectful, was honest, with the cops, like didn't try to restrain, didn't try to fight, didn't make a clown of himself. And guess what? He's a young kid. He's a D lineman, and he's a 4-star prospect. They're probably going to give him another chance if they think he's good. They've seen this kid practice. They've seen his workout. So if they think he's going to help the team, they'll probably keep him on because it's his first one. So
it's literally so funny because I used that comparison last podcast about Kaidon Salter. Like, bro, you're supposed to be QB1. Like, as a quarterback, as a leader of the team, as a leader of the offense, you can't have those bad decision-making things on your resume. Like no one is going to follow you if you do that. And I literally go, now say a random defensive lineman gets one. Like I literally said it, like, that's fine as long as he comes out and, gives me 5 tackles a game. Like, he's not leading anything. It's just like, you could still be on the team. You'll be fine. Like, a little mishap, no big deal. And then this literally happens. And it's exactly what I said.
That is funny. I don't know what they've said. I'm guessing they said the same thing. Everyone, we're aware of it. We're looking into it. We're going to handle internally.
Waiting until more information comes out.
Yeah, we're a bunch of clowns. So, anyways, we'll see what happens. I mean, just be smart about it. Like, hide it. Don't drive while you're high or like whatever. Like, there's some very creative ways to hide it if you want to do it. Like I said, I don't do it, but I know people that do. And when they drive with it, they have very good hiding spots. They do different stuff or whatever. Like, all right, lastly, the NIL stuff, name, image, and likeness. Name, image, and likeness. So it started already.
Yeah.
So I was talking to you, and we've talked about it on the podcast, not on the podcast. So I was like, well, yeah, Kylan probably would have like gotten some stuff. Like, he's a Knoxville kid. Like, people knew him. He's a pretty good player. Like, there would have been some people that, hey, post this or post that or be a brand ambassador, all that, post something on your Twitter, whatever. And I'm like, but it would have been reserved for more of the other people. Well, then as the weeks leading up, I'm seeing like a player from like ETSU putting something out. I'm like, what? And then I see like some walk-ons putting stuff out. I'm like, what's going on here? And then I'm putting then I see some people that are like on UT's team that they're not bad. They're not walk-ons, but like, they're probably not going to play. And I'm like, what are these clowns doing? And then guess what? One of those clowns that I saw, like, he got a sponsorship already, or like he's doing something. I'm like, okay, you know what? And like, I've really gone back and forth about this, and you know what? It's like, I was more worried about how it was going to affect recruiting and if kids were just going to get paid and all this type stuff. But, good for these kids. And it seems like just starting out, it's like, it's going to be like just a bunch of social media influencers. It'll still just be the biggest of the big that might do a radio.
YouTube.
No. I'm saying like most of it's going to be influencers. I think it's going to have to be really big stars. That'll do like a TV,
commercial.
Yes, thank you. TV commercial or autograph signings or stuff like that. You know what I mean? Because certain people aren't going to want someone's autograph, but like, I saw where Cade Mays is going to be at the Old City, like sponsoring some stuff. So if they threw him a couple $100 for that, like, hey, great, like, good on you. So, and then we'll see. Funny thing is, bro, I think a lot of these females in track and swimming,
they're going to
kill
it. They're going to kill it
on Instagram. Like, I saw one thing that a girl who's that gymnast down in LSU said that they're projecting that she's going to be a millionaire in 3 days just because of all the people that are going to hit her up.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's crazy, especially with some of these athletes. Like, you think about like the Nike deals or the Adidas deals or whatever, when they actually go to the, NFL, you can do that now. Like, they can start working with Nike now. And they're in college, and it's like all that money that they could be bringing in. Like, imagine Trevor Lawrence doing this after his freshman year when they won. I'm pretty sure it was his freshman year they won. Was it, or did they lose? So. But like, he wins the national championship his freshman year, and like, bro, I mean, the amount of stuff that he could have got and been a part of. And, in an earlier podcast, I talked about like guys going to big cities because it might be more opportunities. With everything online now, I don't necessarily think that matters as much. Like I thought it would like make a difference. But you know what matters now? Income tax. That's what matters now because it's affecting them. And they didn't think about it before. It was never a problem before. But now you're telling me you want to go to California with that income tax, or would you rather come to Tennessee, Texas, Florida, zero state income tax? Like that's going to make a huge difference. Guys aren't going to want to go out to USC.
Well, the only thing about that is I think the brand of USC and Hollywood will still give opportunities that maybe Tennessee wouldn't. So I think it would level out. I think it could level out.
Maybe.
So either way,
but dude, I like if you people that are LA, that actors, comedians, podcasters, they're leaving LA because it is so ridiculous and expensive. It's like if these kids, can see the writing on the wall, I don't know if they're gonna, they're probably following the TikTok generation, and those kids are in LA right now.
Well, let me say this. So let me say this: Kyler Kerberson coming out of Knoxville Catholic, and USC's recruiting you really hard, and they're like, we could get you in a movie, or we could get you in a TV show, or like you could work in Hollywood. Now, cool.
Now that's a different animal.
Or there's rappers that are like, we'll put you in a music video, or whatever the thing is. Like Hollywood's Hollywood, or like we can have TikTok people come in and make you a TikTok star, or like a YouTube star, or whatever. And then compared to Knoxville, yeah, you might make some nice coin because, Pilot, Clayton Homes, Calhoun's, whatever, they might sponsor you, but you might make only $500 to go do like a showing with them. But we know what social media is like, and it's the craziest power in the world. So
yeah,
I think, it's still, I'm really interested to see how it goes. I think it'd be really interesting to know what some of these guys make, because I think some kids are probably going to post and you're like, wow, he's doing a lot of posts. He might be making like $25 a clip. You know what I mean? And then some of these guys might be making $100, $200, and then some might be making a couple thousand. So you just never know. Like, I think it's when these big companies get involved, like you said, like the Nikes of the world, or for these girls' makeup companies, athletic wear stuff, or like clothing, that's when it could be. It's going to be interesting, bro. There's going to be more young kids with money, and it's going to be, what they do with it and how they handle it. Like I saw JJ Redick tweeted like he would have gotten a bag at Duke, and he would have. He's like, but I also would have blown it on a bunch of like beer and like polos that I'd been like wearing with the collar pop. So he's kind of like making fun of himself.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean that's another thing too. Like social media now compared to literally, 7 years ago when I was playing is completely different. Completely different. The influencer, like we talked about, it wasn't really a thing back then. So even those kind of opportunities would have been so different at that point. And I was like private on all my social medias. Like I never really tried to gain any followers, which is why like, guys 2 years younger than me that were on the same team as me have 4 times the amount of followers because they were open with the recruiting. They were open through college. And I was like private all the way through college, like had like 120 followers. But
the other thing is too, I've noticed you want to keep it open during recruiting because all these fan bases. So speaking of Kaidon Salter, I saw where his account that he had like 13,000 followers got hacked. Yeah. Well, he's at UT now. He'd already gotten in trouble once, and he made a new account. Was like, follow me. He had like 400 people. Well, people don't care to follow you now that you're on the team. You've already gotten in trouble. These other fan bases, these other coaches, these other people aren't going to now. It'll tick up now that his recruitment's open. It'll tick back up. But that's where a lot of these kids get these followers because it's all the fan bases that are trying to get him. It's all these, people that are our age or older or younger that are like, come to UT, we love you, go Big Orange. And then when they go to a school, they just, like don't unfollow them or whatever. But so that's why.
I could have used my little 15 minutes of fame when I had that viral dance video at spring
Yes,
practice.
absolutely.
And I could have just like moved that into something else and started doing TikToks and, freaking hitting that thing and get some money out of it. But, that stuff wasn't alive back then. TikTok wasn't a thing. And, didn't get to take advantage of it.
Last thing I'm going to say, I thought about this, and there'll be more things I think about over time. I think this could actually hold people in college longer. Now, hear me out. A guy like Juwan Jennings, we love him. Great player. But he was more of a college player, speed-wise, stuff like that. Now, he got drafted. I honestly think he got drafted in the 7th round literally because they know he's a dog.
Yeah.
He does not – his measurables, his speed really, really held him back. But the only reason he did get drafted is because San Fran saw this guy makes plays. He's a football player. He's probably work hard, good team guy. I'm telling you right now, if name, image, and likeness was around, Juwan Jennings would have made a lot. I think a lot. Like he would have had a good opportunity to make a decent amount. I don't want to say a lot because I don't know enough about it, but I think he would have made a good amount. If that kid's a junior, that boy would be crazy if he talks to somebody and they're like, you're probably going 6th or 7th round or undrafted. And he could come back for a senior year, do another thing of autographs, do more commercials, do more posts. I think it's going to keep some of these guys that are hometown heroes, that are college players, their games aren't going to transfer to the NFL as long. And you always hear about these guys who are like juniors and they all leave every year. And the numbers are worse and worse every year. It's like 400 juniors left early and like 100 of them get drafted. Now what? Now what are those guys doing? Trying to make it in the CFL, trying to make it overseas, working at Enterprise Rental Car. Like what do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you got a guaranteed paycheck if you stay for another year.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because like I'm saying, they're good players in college. So don't get me wrong, they are good players. Like, especially some of these quarterbacks, like that don't necessarily transfer or translate to the NFL as much. Like an Aaron Murray or not, Aaron Murray or Sam Ehlinger or a John Parker Wilson.
Every Alabama quarterback.
Right. It's like all those guys, like, they'll get drafted and they might hang around for 2 or 3 years in the NFL, but they ain't never thinking about going early if they can come back and they're going to make more money at one of these big schools than they are when they get, or not. They'll have they'll just add more money. Like, is what I'm trying to say. Like, instead of making 0 and then making maybe 2 or 3 years in the NFL, they're going to make couple years in college and then try at their NFL. I think, and plus, I would personally do that too. Like, it's smarter if you're not a 1st or 2nd round guy.
Yeah, and I also think it could have an effect where guys that don't love football stop. Like,
or
they make enough money in college, like doing social media stuff, maybe a YouTube channel, all that kind of stuff, and they're not necessarily in love with football. They might be a good football player, but they know they're going to get drafted, 4th, 5th round, maybe later. It's going to be a grind to like make it, but have millions of followers on YouTube. They're just like, I'm not going to the NFL. Like, I'm good. I got my YouTube. People follow me. I can just put out content. I can be a content guy, and that's like a crazy thing to think about too. It's just like, dude's just like, football is a way for me to get out, and I'm out, so I'm good.
Like, I'm thinking about some of these guys and their games. They were great players here, and their games just don't really translate. Or for whatever reason, they like Trey Smith. His game translates great to the NFL, but he went 6th round because of some injuries and stuff. That boy would have made a good amount of coin here. Now, another thing that I thought about too is like some of these guys can still come back and do stuff when they leave, but there is not the same when you have to be an all-time great for it to mean something when you come back. Like, it's just not the same once you leave. When you're not on the team anymore, that little bit of, spunk or that little bit of like aura around you does change a little bit.
It's a huge difference.
But can you imagine like Chris Lofton? Now, Chris Lofton's made a really good living for himself playing overseas, but like he would have made a good amount of money here. And, he's not an NBA guy. Like a lot of our basketball players, actually,
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of our guys, when we were growing up, that they were good college basketball players. Tennessee fans loved them, but they, didn't go to the league or whatever. Which a lot of those guys can still get good money overseas. But yeah, I mean, there's guys that are not going to play pro, and they're going to really be able to set themselves up. And I think it's going to take them out of the even thought process of like, well, maybe I should leave after a redshirt sophomore or a junior year.
Yeah,
So,
I agree. I think that's a good point. I think it might help that number of juniors leaving. Like it might keep guys here. So appreciate you guys coming out. Appreciate you listening, watching on YouTube. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, like button, notification bell. Rate, review us on all your podcast platforms if you're just listening. Contact us. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you might want to hear about. Believe in Tennessee football at gmail.com and the number 865-322-9232. We'll definitely answer some of those questions. We are presented by betonline.ag. So if you're looking to bet on any sports, make sure and check them out. And as always, go Vols.